Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and his legacy is alive here in Huntsville.
Since 1983, people around the country have marked this day as one to follow Dr. King's lead and give back to their communities. Our Sydney Stallworth tells us more about the work that's being done right here in Huntsville.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve." And that's exactly what people in Huntsville are doing today, using their skills to reach others and inspire the next generation of leaders.
People gathered at Zenzele Consignment Shop in Huntsville to gear up for their day of service, heading out into local neighborhoods for community outreach. 5 locals were honored with service awards. Each of them run programs that embody Dr. King's passion for service. One of them, Ivy Joe Milan.
I was raised down on Church Street.
Huntsville native Ivy Joe grew up at a time when he had to participate in sit-ins, and our city looked and felt a lot different. For people of color, the feeling of oppression that comes hand in hand with segregation was one you couldn't ignore.
People gathered at First Baptist Church to go pick cotton, and it was an all-day job. You know, you leave at 7 in the morning, you come back at 4 or 5 in the evening for $2.
Ivy Joe was one of the first black students to attend Huntsville High School post-integration and was expelled after his principal saw him talking to a group of white female students in the hall.
The principal was Mr. Hyatt, and he called me to the office, and basically he kicked me out of school, you know, for the rest of the year.
Years later, Ivy Joe served in Vietnam and battled drug addiction. He graduated from Alabama A&M and dove into making music with his band, Ivy Joe and his Snowballs. Now at 70 years old, he runs a nonprofit, Surrender Incorporated, that helps locals who are struggling with addiction. And Ivy Joe uses his passion for music and the drums to help heal others.
Just by helping other people, you become a better human being.
Dr. King is still a source of inspiration to millions today, and one of the largest celebrations of his life happened today at his former church. Fox News correspondent Nathan Sari has more from Atlanta.
It's a day of celebration and solemnity, America paying tribute to the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Dr. King reminded the nation and the world that there is no time like now.
Ebenezer Baptist Church, which Dr. King led until his assassination in 1968, holding its annual ceremony in Atlanta. A major theme this year, highlighting King's commitment to racial equality and equal justice.
You understand where Dr. King stood? Stand with the poor and the powerless. You understand where Dr. King stood? Stand with ordinary working people.
And of course, Dr. King's legacy was also the big topic on the campaign trail. Almost all the Democratic candidates for president taking part in MLK Day events, trying to draw a contrast between Dr. King's politics and those of President Trump.
I think we're at a second inflection point in the civil rights movement in America. We have a president who embraces white supremacists.
But others are hoping this is a day that will bring Americans together. Dr. King is the only non-president to have a national holiday dedicated in his honor, and his family says he can be a unifying figure.
I really believe he would ask us to communicate without hatred, without fear, without rancor. I believe we can still do that in America. I really do.
In honor of Dr. King's memory, national parks are offering free admission today and organizing community service projects all week. In Atlanta, Jonathan Sari, Fox News.